You bled my mama, you bled my papa, but you won't bleed me. Yeah, so as promised, I have my review for Baadasssss, written and directed by Mario Van Peebles, son of the legendary Melvin Van Peebles, who made the revolutionary film Sweet Sweetback's Baadasssss Song. Now, I just want to give you a brief history of Sweetback and what it meant to films, period, because I did say that it is one of the most important films in film history, not because it's the best film, but because of what it stood for and what it was about. So prior to Sweetback, we've never seen black people on the screen as, as really being us. You know what I mean? Like, it was either one extreme or the other. So, you had your mammies and your butlers and your ignorant folk. You had your ignorant folk who talk like this. You better not make the boss mad, the boss gonna get you. Uh-oh, the boss home, he gonna be mad now. Or you had the proper Sidney Poitier, who was always dapper and very well spoken. Not to say anything's wrong with Sidney Poitier. Like, Sidney Poitier is an OG. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but a lot of black people couldn't relate to him at that time. I mean, yeah, you saw him on screen, you're like, damn, that's a very intelligent brother, man. Like, he's cool, but it wasn't really reflective of how black people really were. At least majority of us. Like, Sidney Poitier was like that minority of black people that was really just like real proper like that. Melvin Van Peebles acknowledged this because he said so himself, like, he never saw what he wanted to see on the screen. Like, he never saw us how we really were, and he wanted to make, a film and show the faces that Norman Rockwell never painted. The movie Baadasssss, written and directed by his son and starring his son Mario Van Peebles, is about the making of that movie. So just like The Disaster Artist, it shows the trials and tribulations and the painful process of making an independent film. So like Sweetback, Baadasssss is a very sexual movie. It has a lot of explicit stuff. It has a lot of controversial subject matter. With the racism and everything that was going on in the late 60s in America, and just the struggle of being a black filmmaker in Hollywood at that time, or in a black actor at that time. So it goes into a lot of sensitive subjects where a lot of people like to stay away from, but Mario tackles it head on, and he really puts out there like, no, this is what it was like, and this is why my father Melvin wanted to make this movie. Baadasssss was definitely his masterpiece because he really brought it with this. He brought such passion to this project because, and Mario was actually in Sweetback. Mario was the little homeless kid who had sex for the first time as a kid with a grown woman, a prostitute, and that was his role in the movie. So he was on the set of he was on the set of Sweetback, so he knew exactly what was going on. So he had first-hand experience about being on the set with his father, so that did give him an advantage to making Baadasssss. Mario shot this film like a blaxploitation movie, but he did it with such good quality, because if you watch the blaxploitation films from back in the 70s, they are very badly made movies, okay? But they were important because it was the first time you seen black people on the screen doing some gangster type stuff that you never seen before. Like, you watch a Shaft or Superfly or the Mac, you've never seen black people talk to white people any type of way. Like, usually the white man says something, and a black person, oh, okay, you got it. But in those movies, for example, Superfly, the white dude points my man in the chest and was like, look here, you work for me, you do what I tell you. And Ron O'Neal hits him with the,
you don't own me, pig, and no motherfucker tells me when I can split.
It was cool because you finally got to see on screen something that you never seen before as black people, and Sweetback started, Sweetback kicked that off. So Baadasssss is the movie about that, and it's made like a blaxploitation movie, but then it's made really high quality, and you can tell Mario put a lot of love and passion into this project, of course, to make his dad proud as well. And he did a good job playing Melvin. Well, Mario, he already looks a lot like Melvin, so he pulled it off. So a lot of times you thought you were seeing Melvin on the screen, and he really did his thing. And I think Nia Long did really good as well too in this movie. The late Ozzie Davis, he was in this film. He plays Melvin's father. So a lot of black star power in here, and it's definitely a must watch. If you haven't seen Badass yet, check it out, man. I don't want to, go into spoilers because I think it's a movie that like not a lot of people have seen, but it's definitely underrated. If you like the disaster artist, you're definitely gonna like this. Both stories were good. Now I love both films, but I think Badass was more important, and therefore I relate to that more. So I go with Badass. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Badass was just a really great film. Mario's best to me besides New Jack City, and I want to do a video about the blaxploitation area. Like I really want to get into blaxploitation and what the good films and the stinkers, and because I mean it's one of my favorite genres of film. So I'm gonna wrap this thing up, man. I'm gonna give Badass a A+. But you won't believe me. Definitely certified classic, man. One of the best of all time. And yeah, if it wasn't for Melvin, we wouldn't have Spike. We wouldn't have John Singleton. F. Gary Gray, who was very successful now with the Fast and Furious franchise. Ryan Coogler, who's now doing Black Panther, which is definitely going to make a lot of money, and it's it's one of the most highly anticipated films of 2018, and he's in charge of that movie. So, man, it's because of Melvin that we have all this, man. So big ups to Melvin Van Peebles for doing Sweetback, and thank you, Mario, for bringing us Badass. That was about the making of that film. What did you think about Badass? If you've seen it, have you seen Sweetback? If you haven't seen Sweetback, it's unless you're a film buff, like a film historian, you probably won't like Sweetback because it was an independent movie made back in 1970 with limited resources, limited lighting. I think it was shot on 16mm, and yeah, it doesn't look very good. The lighting is crap. It's not a very well-made movie, but it is a very important film. So definitely watch it if you have it. I mean, if you haven't yet. So what did you guys think of Sweetback? What did you think of Badass? Comment below, comment freely. Thank you for watching. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.